Hello, Paul Hamilton here for iPad Monthly. Let's take a look at the COG challenge, something that I gave my kids the other day. They really loved it. Terrific for perseverance. We're going to use two apps today. We're going to start off by using Assembly. And basically, we had a really good class discussion about what COGs are and what purpose they actually have. And then we started designing some different COGs. We started doing some internet research, looking at images and that sort of thing. So they're really, really easy to make. Basically, you can see I've got a couple there, but if we just go from scratch here, we can basically use any shapes that we like. Let me zip through to some of my basic shapes here. We might start with, say, we could start with a circle, for example, make that a little bit bigger, and then just simply start adding some different shapes onto it. So we might start with just some different kind of squares. We might make that the same actual shape and so forth. And you can see you can just add and add and add. What's a good idea and a hot little tip is if you actually copy the different shapes when you make them, you're actually going to get them exactly the same size. So that's always a good idea when you're actually creating those different things. So there's some different cogs there. If we go to one of the ones that I created before, assembly's just jumping in and out a little bit here. But if I actually go here, you can see that there's a couple of little imperfections here, but overall it's a pretty good design. And what we're actually going to do is we are going to actually export as a PNG file. And this is a really good teachable moment with your kids to start talking about types of images, transparent PNGs, JPEGs, what they actually are and what their benefits. I'll just save that image. And then all we have to do then is jump into Explain Everything, one of our favorite apps here at iPad Monthly. Let's start a new one. I might go with just a white background. But the great thing about transparent images, obviously, is the background. So if we actually bring in that photo, let's hope this works. There we go, our camera roll there. Now, one of the great signs is we've got that checkered background, which indicates maybe transparent. And as you can see, it brings it in there beautifully. So what we might actually do there is we'll just press an I. And what we'll actually do is I'll just copy that or duplicate it and then hit off our little marks just so we've got two of the same. Might make one a little bit bigger. Actually, we should keep it about the same. You can see here that this is a good, once again, a teachable moment to say, okay, are the cogs actually going to fit with each other? I might have to redesign one of my cogs. That's part of the cog challenge. And then it's a simple case of pressing the I and pressing one of them and actually setting a rotation. Now, we've got two little indicators there. The bottom one here, we want to try and get in the center of our image so that it actually doesn't complete like a revolution. And then we simply drag down at a speed that's okay, the different actual speeds. So if I off that, you can see that that's moving pretty well. And then we can start to play around with this other one and start to say, hey, I need to change kind of the teeth in my cogs here. But I also need to think about which way is it actually going to go. And we have a really good discussion with the kids about which way that's going to go. Let me just move that into the middle. And we'll just go back the other way. That's a little bit fast, isn't it? So we'll just slow it down a little bit. And then we can start joining up and see how the cogs. You can see here that this is going to take a lot of persistence. It's going to take a little bit more designing for what we're actually going to do. And it's a really, really good task. So I'm not going to save that, but I'll just show you one of the ones that the kids actually did. So this was, once again, not perfect, but you can kind of see that it's starting to get a little bit closer in regard to moving the cogs around. Can start to play around with speeds, can start to play around with the designs of the cogs. And you might even actually bring in a third cog and start to build the complexity of the cogs there as well. So that's just a great little activity, I think, that gets kids persevering, really sticking to a task, adding some design elements in there, redesigning, realizing that they're going to fail the first couple of times and then they get better at it, refine it, make their cogs more effective. And then at the end of it, they've got something that they're really proud of because it's actually taken a little bit of time and a little bit of skill to produce. So that's Paul Hamilton here for iPad Monthly. Hope you found the COG Challenge an interesting one. Fantastic. Do it with your kids. They're going to come up with some amazing designs and work through that problem-solving process really, really effectively. Paul Hamilton here, iPad Monthly, signing off.